Welcome back to Record Rift, where we tear through the pages of history to reveal the stories that shaped our world. Today, we're stepping onto the wind-swept steppes of Mongolia to explore the life of a man who forged the largest contiguous empire in human history, Genghis Khan. Born in a world of tribal feuds and harsh survival, he rose from a hunted outcast to a conqueror whose name echoed from the Pacific to the Caspian Sea. His empire reshaped Asia and Europe, blending cultures, spreading trade, and leaving a legacy that still resonates today. But who was the man behind the legend? Was he a ruthless warlord, a visionary leader, or both? Over the next 20 minutes, we'll trace the rise and reign of Genghis Khan, from his brutal beginnings to his world-shaking conquests. Saddle up, and let's ride into the heart of the Mongol Empire. In the late 12th century, the Mongolian steppes were a brutal landscape of endless grasslands, biting winds, and warring tribes. Into this world, around 1162 CE, a boy named Temujin was born to the Khwarezmian clan, a minor tribe among many. His father, Yasujii, was a respected chieftain, but Temujin's early life was no fairy tale. At 9, his father arranged his marriage to Borte, a girl from a neighboring tribe, to secure an alliance. But tragedy struck when Yasujii was poisoned by rival Tatars, leaving Temujin's family destitute. His mother, Holun, fought to keep her children alive, foraging for roots and fish in a society that shunned widows. Worse, Temujin's own tribe abandoned them, fearing a child could not lead. Imagine a boy, barely a teenager, scavenging to survive, his future uncertain in a world where loyalty was fleeting and betrayal was a way of life. At 13, Temujin faced another blow. He was captured by the Taichidi tribe, enslaved, and forced to wear a wooden collar. Yet, even in chains, his spirit burned. He escaped, earning a reputation for cunning and resilience. Temujin began building alliances, starting with his childhood friend Jamuka and a powerful chieftain named Togrul. But the steppes were unforgiving and betrayal loomed. When Borte was kidnapped by the Merkit tribe, Temujin rallied allies to rescue her, proving his leadership. These early struggles forged Temujin into a man of iron will, a leader who understood both the power of loyalty and the cost of vengeance. By his 20s, he was no longer just a survivor. He was a force, ready to unite a fractured land. By the 1190s, Temujin's ambition was clear: to unite the Mongol tribes, a feat no one had achieved. The steppes were a chaotic patchwork of clans, Merkit, Kharit, Naiman, and others, bound by blood feuds and shifting alliances. Temujin's genius lay in his ability to turn enemies into allies. He offered mercy to defeated foes who swore allegiance, a radical departure from the steppe tradition of slaughter. He also broke tribal hierarchies, creating a merit-based system where loyalty and skill trumped birth. Warriors from low-born backgrounds could rise to command, binding them to Temujin's cause. His charisma was magnetic. One story tells of a rival archer who, after shooting at Temujin in battle, was spared and became a trusted general. But unity came at a cost. Temujin's old friend Jamuka, once a brother in arms, became a rival. Their clash in 1204 at the Battle of Chakramaut was a turning point. Temujin's disciplined forces crushed Jamuka's coalition, and when Jamuka was captured, Temujin offered him mercy, but demanded loyalty. Jamuka refused, choosing death over submission. In 1206, at a grand assembly called a Kurultai, the Mongol tribes declared Temujin their supreme leader, bestowing the title Genghis Khan, meaning universal ruler. At 44, he stood atop a united Mongolia, but his eyes were already on the world beyond. The steppes were just beginning. Genghis Khan's empire didn't grow through diplomacy. It grew through conquest. His army, though small at 100,000 men, was a masterpiece of mobility and strategy. Mongol warriors were born in the saddle, trained from childhood to ride and shoot with deadly accuracy. Their composite bows, made of horn and sinew, could pierce armor from 300 yards. Genghis organized his forces into 2 muns of 10,000, each divided into units of 10, ensuring flexibility and discipline. Scouts and spies gathered intelligence, while feigned retreats lured enemies into traps. This wasn't just warfare, it was a revolution in military tactics. In 1209, Genghis targeted the Xixia kingdom in northern China, forcing its submission after grueling sieges. Next, he set his sights on the Jin Dynasty, a powerhouse ruling northern China. Between 1211 and 1215, the Mongols swept through Jin territory, sacking cities and capturing Beijing. The Mongol psychological warfare was brutal. Cities that resisted were razed, their people massacred or enslaved as a warning to others. Yet, Genghis also spared artisans and scholars, integrating them into his empire. By 1219, he turned west, targeting the Khwarezmian Empire in Central Asia. When its ruler, Shah Muhammad, murdered Mongol envoys, Genghis unleashed a vengeance that obliterated cities like Samarkand and Bokhara. By 1223, his forces had crushed the Khwarezmians, reaching the Caspian Sea. Europe trembled as Mongol scouts probed as far as Russia. Genghis's empire now spanned 11 million square miles, dwarfing Rome's. Genghis Khan wasn't just a conqueror. He was a nation builder. He created a system to govern his vast empire, blending Mongol traditions with innovations from conquered lands. He established the Yasa, a legal code that enforced discipline, banned theft, and protected religious freedom, an astonishing policy for the time. To connect his empire, he expanded the Yam, a network of relay stations for messengers and trade, stretching from Korea to Persia. This proto-postal system allowed messages to travel 200 miles a day, a marvel of efficiency. Genghis also adopted the Uyghur script, creating a written Mongolian language to standardize administration. Trade flourished under Mongol rule. The Silk Road, once plagued by bandits, became safer, linking east and west. Chinese silk, Persian glass, and European furs flowed through Mongol markets. Genghis encouraged cultural exchange, bringing Chinese engineers to build siege weapons and Persian astronomers to advise his court. Yet, his rule was not gentle. Taxes were heavy, and rebellion was met with swift brutality. Still, his ability to govern diverse peoples, nomads, farmers, Muslims, Buddhists, and Christians, set a precedent for empires like the Ottomans and Mongols in 1227. During a campaign against the Xia, Genghis Khan fell ill and died, likely from fever or injury, at around 65. His empire was divided among his sons and grandsons, with his third son, Ogidi, named successor. The Mongol Empire continued to expand, reaching its peak under Kublai Khan, but it never again had a leader like Genghis. His conquests killed millions. Some estimate 40 million, nearly 10% of the global population, but they also connected the world, spreading technologies like gunpowder and printing. His descendants, like the Golden Horde and Yuan Dynasty, ruled for centuries. Genghis's DNA is said to live in 16 million men today, a testament to his lineage's reach. Was Genghis a monster or a visionary? He was both, a man shaped by a brutal world, who forged an empire through blood and brilliance. His story reminds us that history's greatest figures are rarely simple. The Mongols reshaped the world, paving the way for global trade and cultural exchange, but at a staggering human cost. Genghis Khan's legacy is a paradox. Creation through destruction, unity through conquest, that's the epic saga of Genghis Khan, the man who rose from the steppes to rule an empire larger than any before or since. What do you think? Could anyone else have united the Mongols, or was Genghis one of a kind? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and tell us what historical titan you want us to tackle next on Record Rift. If this journey through the Mongol Empire fired you up, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell to join our quest through history. Until next time, keep exploring the rifts that shape our past. This is Record Rift, signing off.